In Ashtanga Yoga, we have discussed the first
Yama,
four
Niyama.
aspects: Yama, Niyama,
Yeah.
Asana, and
Ah.
Pranayama.
But,
Could we please discuss the next four?
Yeah. The next four will be meant only for those who wish to finally achieve the spiritual aspect of yoga. Those who wish to get advantages of their physical health, the first four are adequate. The spiritual aspects start from pratyahara, where a person starts withdrawing his sensations from the periphery without anything to keep his things hooked on, and slowly take the sensations inside, so that his ability to concentrate on one aspect gets sharper and sharper and sharper. Everything else is taken out of his attention. And that ability to concentrate on one aspect is termed dharana, which is the next thing. After pratyahara will come dharana, where a person is in a position to concentrate only on one thing that is there in his attention. And once he starts doing that, then the next one will be simple, that is dhyana. And in fact, almost all studies have been made on dhyana, which is an ability. Dhyana actually means thoughtless awareness. You are aware, you're attentive, your ability to concentrate, but there are no thoughts in your mind. In other words, your attention is only to right now, this moment. So thoughts necessarily require you to think of either of the future or of the past. What happens right now is an experience. So you're allowed to have an experience, but you're not allowed to have a thought which takes you either in the past or in the future. And that is why it is very important that the techniques of meditation consists of replacing an experience for a thought. For example, you may say that now I am concentrating on my breathing, and I am concentrating on the fact that the breath that is going in is slightly cooler than my body, and the breath that is going out is slightly warmer than my body. That means now only one experience is in your mind, and no thought, no reason to think when you are experiencing something. But that is how you get into the stage of dhyana. Dhyana means the ability to meditate. Meditation means thoughtless awareness. When you reach this stage of thoughtless awareness, many advantageous things happen to the body as far as health is concerned. For example, when you do that, you are not thinking of what experiences that you have had in the past, and you are not thinking of what might happen in the future, you will automatically and slowly concentrate on exactly what is right here and now. Then the so-called fight and flight response will go away, because right now there is nothing there. If I don't have a tiger in front of me, why do I want to fight against anybody, and why do I want to run from anything? So I am steady. So my blood pressure, if it was high, starts gradually going down. My pulse rate starts going down. My breathing becomes slow. The total oxygen consumption of the body becomes less and less and less. Total carbon dioxide production also becomes less and less. Various arterioles of the body relax, and that is what brings the blood pressure down. The muscles relax and they don't use any energy, and therefore they do not use things like insulin in the body, and therefore people who have diabetes are benefited. Their blood sugars will come under control. There are things that happen in the skin because our skin, if it is, our skin is associated with sweat glands, and if we are excited, the sweat glands will secrete sweat, and the sweat is secreted on the skin, then the electrical resistance of the skin drops down. And if there is no sweating, the electrical resistance of the skin will rise. And that tells us that this particular person is totally relaxed. And you do what is called as an EMG, which is an electromyogram, which shows that the muscles are completely relaxed. So that all the advantages of total relaxation will be possible. And nothing is known in modern medicine which can do this except for meditation. And those who can, but this is not easy. To reach a state of thoughtless awareness requires a lot of practice. And in fact, I may have mentioned to Vijnana Bhairava Tantra in one of those previous books, this is the only book I know which gives you 120 ways of achieving thoughtless state of mind. There is 120 methods of dhyan. It has an exceedingly interesting introduction. There is a short dialogue between Shankar and Parvati. Parvati asks Shankar that when we see that people who are kind and good and generous and helpful, they suffer, their children die early, they may get illnesses, and that gives us a lot of pain in our heart. Though the people are good, why should they suffer? So Shankar tells her that the way to get rid of any sufferance is to meditate, to do dhyan. So Parvati says, this word dhyan we have heard, we don't know how to reach that level. So Shankar says, okay, I'll tell you. So he tells her 120 methods of how to achieve that level, stage. That is Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Now, amongst Hinduism, there are three main groups. There are Vaishnavas, like what most of us are, and therefore we believe in Vishnu, and therefore we believe in Krishna, therefore we believe in Bhagavad Gita, and therefore we consider that Bhagavad Gita is the highest spiritual book for Hinduism. But there is another group of people which are Shaivas, and there is a sect called Kashmir Shaivism. Vijnana Bhairava Tantra is their book. They consider that as the epoch of knowledge. Of course, it's available in Pune. I got it from here only, so the question is not right. And there is a third group of people who believe that you must develop strength in you, so that once you develop the strength, you can reach, you can make your brain so strong that it can understand all the principles of Jnana Marga, and you can go further. And they worship Shakti and Durga Puja, for example, and therefore they are called Shakta. They have different kind of methods of worship. So we have Shaivas, we have Vaishnavas, we have Shaktas. Shaivas believe in Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, and they meditate and do that. But anybody can do it. What is there? There is no harm at all. You can easily get a book, it hardly costs anything. But Rajneesh has written an extraordinarily good book as making a commentary on Vijnana Bhairava Tantra called the Book of Secrets. And that will be available in this ashram here. That Rajneesh was an extraordinarily good teacher, an extraordinarily capable orator, and the book is written in simple English. It was difficult to follow the Sanskrit. It's easy to follow the English paradoxically for us Indians. We find it easy to follow English than following Sanskrit. But that's okay, no harm. Whichever language you can follow, you can You can do that. So that is the next 4 parts of the yoga. We've done the first 4, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama for everybody and anybody who wants to do it. For those who wish to go further, there will be pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Not for everybody. Unless your guru tells you that you are fit for it, do not get into it.